Okay, welcome to Gem Collectors with Shawn, starting out there with a little bit of a giggle because of Asif. And he's going to get, actually, he doesn't get these ahead of time. He's going to get to read a couple of comments with his name on them. Nothing bad, of course. I think it was a request for a stand-up comedian team. Okay, all right, so we have some people we hadn't heard from in a bit. Harry, Anthony joined in, so that's good to see because all of you were letting, who participate in the trivia contest, were letting a few run away with all the goodies in the wins. I mean, it was down to like 1 in 3 chance of winning. So glad to see it was a bigger pool, but the answers, well, but that's what it's about. It's about having fun. And, it's less about answering it correctly as it is about just joining in participating at, again, whatever level of education that you have or even care to have. I remember when I first started here 15 years ago or so, and Asif, of course, was director then, and he wondered who this long-haired hippie was. That, he hired John Denver. And then he thought he hired John Denver. And then when I found out that he wasn't John Denver, then all the opinion of me went crashing right into the sea along with John Denver. And so he wondered who this guy was. Well, I had to prove myself, and by way of knowledge. But one of the first things I think that was said to me was to the DID principle. Yep. D-I-D. D-I-D, Shawn. That is dumb it down. Because I really wasn't used to how to present it in a way that was interesting, that you wanted to hear the next words out of my mouth, and that I didn't talk chemical formulas and over everybody's head. So it made a lot of sense. I definitely needed to. Now, it's a lot of fun because with a lot of you, whether you participate in the trivia or not, enjoy the educational side of it at whatever level you want to absorb it at. So if you want to make notes about, isotopes or particular chemical reactions with minerals and others, or, some of that other stuff that you hated in high school, then, don't take those notes. If you want to, though, you'll also have the option to get that level of education. And we're going to try to have fun along the way. And by that, what I have coming up is one of the hardest sciences that there is, and that is crystallography. So we won't even touch, 1% of the information that goes into understanding that science, but we're going to grow crystals again from one show to the next. I have several options I'm getting ready. So we're going to do that. We did it before, and with tremendously fun success. And so yeah, all right, we got lots to show again. I'm glad to see all of you have really been enjoying the last few shows, and by way of your purchases, it shows that as well, which of course is the idea. So I like to see that the fun, the education, the experience overall has been really enjoyable for you, and that you've gotten the most out of it, and that is represented by a real high percentage of items sold versus the number of items shown. Now, if I could take that same percentage and go upstairs to the live show with it, I'd be king of the hill, because of course it doesn't translate when you're selling $10,000 pieces of jewelry. But when you're selling really cool rocks and minerals, there's only a certain audience that is interested in that realm. So I think the amount we sell versus what we show and all represents a really good return, and shows that so many of you recognize the value. Because if I can sell items to Miss Gabby, Miss Barbara, Mr. Brad, Mr. Anthony, Mr. Harry, a lot of people that have a lot of experience in the industry, then hey, I know I'm doing something right. Okay, so let's get to the comments. Harry, we have not heard from Harry in a while, so it's always great when they touch in, because, you know, hey, all of us are getting a little long in the tooth. I wish I, you know, except for me. Mine seem to be getting shorter. But Harry says, hey there, Professor and lovely Raven. And don't forget Summer. Summer, who is Raven's daughter, and the amazing artist that paints the crystal specimens on the wooden discs. And a big hello to all my brothers and sisters and support crew at the wonderful Gem Shopping Network and shopping department. Hello, hello, and so much joy to share. First, I want to apologize for not being on too much, as I have been ill. Yeah, we hate to hear that, Mr. Harry. I have, though, been able to help the money needs of our brother Shawn, that'd be me, and family by getting in on a bunch of really nice items. Well, it's good to see that, hey, we don't want to hear your words from you. We just want to see the green, which, of course, you know isn't the truth. But, Harry, I'm glad to see that you still have been supporting the show behind the scenes. Thank you so much. God bless and keep you. May he turn his face upon you and be gracious to you. May he turn his face towards you and give you peace. Love always. And then he writes, no, that's a true love always. And so odd that you would use the term peace. You know, I'm glad I pulled out just what I wanted to, and only something to tie my hair back. I have something that has to do with peace, and you're going to see it in a moment. I wonder if you could guess what it would be just from what you saw. We love you back, Mr. Harry. Cindy in Pennsylvania, and thanks for all the support. Hello, Rock family. Great specimens today. Over $500 of favorites this week. Too bad it is not in the budget. I know, but I think it's cute that you tracked how much value's worth that you liked. So, the ruby parcel. Oh, yeah, one of those, as inexpensive as those were, definitely should have been on, because there was upwards of 10 parcels available. So hopefully a lot of you took advantage of it. Queensland Boulder Opal Sphere. That was a really neat piece. The Koroi Opal Skull. Tampa Bay Betrothal Coral. Oh, yeah. That piece with the chalcedony fluoresces the most amazing, beautiful green with a tint of blue in it. Really unique. Rose Quartz Sphere. Manifestation Quartz. Amber with Ant. Brazilian Oco Geode, and the South African Sugalite. Those were 9 out of 15. So, 9 out of 15. And Trivia Envy, congrats to Elisa, she says. Yes, Elisa got in on the parcel of black diamonds last week. So, everything goes to where I think it is supposed to be at the moment. So, yeah. All right. Now to the trivia. So let me read the trivia questions. And it gets real important when I read and why I write down the trivia questions, because semantics is often everything. And that is where, if you remember back in school, and we were warned, I went to parochial school long enough, and we were always warned about check your answers. You know, if you got finished your test early, go back and go over your test, check your answers. And I realized later as a teacher's aide that I got to see it firsthand, that really, really smart children, smart kids, fellow students, missed more questions than they should have. And it was not because they didn't know the material. It's because they simply read the question too quickly and anticipated what they thought the question was and put an answer down irrelevant to what the question actually can be or was. And so I saw a lot of students actually do this, like, wow. So there always really is to that something about check your paper when you're done and read your questions carefully. Okay, so the questions on number 1 from last week's show was, what is the most common mineral in Earth's crust? And then, just for a little extra credit, what is the second most common? Because the two are kind of always tied together often, and it's important to know which one comes in what order. So, here in Georgia, it would be easy to remember, especially North Georgia, because all we have to do is look at any of our soil. It's so unique. If someone from central Illinois or Ohio had never been down south, or someone from the south had never been up to that part, I remember the first time I saw black soil, and I thought, how's that soil get black? Why is it black? I understood red soil because, and I understood sandy soil because of growing up in Florida and then my time in Georgia. You know, to see the black, rich, loamy dirt that you don't have to, you know, after it rains, you know, it forms just a solid clay, impossible to break kind of material to try to plant something in. Yeah, really difficult unless you really break and amend your soil with other items. I really enjoyed gardening for a long period of time and still would if I was able to. I did plant a bunch of fruit trees. So yeah, I've been dealing with that red clay. So, clay. That should tell you right there the origins of the material. The red, easy to know why the clay then is red. Answer, well, why is a quartz crystal red? Why is limonite red? Why is hematite often red? Well, iron, rust. Rust is that reddish color. It is iron impurities in what makes the clay soil so clay-based? Feldspar. The breakdown of feldspar, to be specific. So, the number one soil, if you've never been in the South, you wouldn't believe it, but if you have, you've seen we have a whole lot of red clay going on. And then in other parts, like central Illinois, that black soil is a rich loam-type soil that, you know, has a silica content, you know, a sand content, but it also has a very organic content from, you know, they, you know, either mow in or till in the last year's crops and things to keep the soil loamy, to keep it, you know, rich, but there's a lot of organic material in it. So, yeah, in the South, it is directly mineral with mineral, making it a muddy, messy clay environment. I have literally taken miner's clay, which is a blue clay that acts as bedrock even in streams, and it literally is an amazing blue-gray, and it is thick. I literally took that clay with no amending and shaped a crude bowl in it, put it in my casting oven, and fired the clay directly from the creek, and it turned it a reddish color, and it hardened that bowl up. Now, it wasn't completely really hard, and it didn't have like a glaze finish or anything, but with a little bit of trial and error back in, you know, the Native American days, you could easily develop a formula like kaolin. Kaolin, which is a further, it's a type of material that feldspar actually kind of down the line, and kaolin becomes a kaolin. And in its pure form, kaolin is what is used and was mined often for pigments in paint, and also for making porcelains and that real white type of ceramic. So, you know, at the top of my uncle's apple orchard, where I grew up every summer, there was a kaolin and mica mine. And that's, remember my motorcycle trip trying to get there? That was just one time. I made it there several times, and it was neat. So I would bring back this bucket of kaolin, which you could mix with water and make this neat, and then what do you do with it? It wasn't very exciting, but there was mica crystals I brought back from there. And to read about the nature of kaolin and all what it was used for, it was pretty interesting. So again, it wouldn't take much, and you could really be making pottery from what nature provided in the soil in these here parts. You couldn't do that. You couldn't scoop up a bunch of Illinois or Ohio soil and mash it together and put it in an oven and get anything back but a pile of dirt. So our soil is special. The other second most common one is the one most people think is the first, because they think of all the sand and the beaches all around the world and all that stuff, so they say quartz. Quartz is the second most common mineral in the soil around the world. And of course we know that pretty much quartz does make the world go round, along with the ability to communicate is how it all started with the quartz crystals and their properties. So that was question number one. All right. Which is what are the most first and second most common minerals in the Earth's crust. Question number two is, what other country mentioned, okay, what other country mentioned is known to have amber with insects? So there are other countries, you know, I was featuring Baltic amber, which is amber found in the Baltic region, and which encompasses several different countries where along the lakeshore it's gathered, and other places. So it's also distinct from other amber sources. Two things. The Baltic amber contains insects. The Indonesian amber, which I'm getting ready to show you a really neat carved piece today, has some beautiful colors to it, but has organic material in it, but hasn't been known to feature any insects, which is kind of unusual. You would think just by chance. So I'd like to know if I could go back in time and see what was going on in the area, so to speak, for why that wasn't, or maybe the type of tree didn't attract them or something. I'm sure there's some good reason, because I would imagine there'd be some. Now, the other place that you most commonly see insects in amber is the only other origin I mentioned that have insects. So I'll read on and we'll cover a couple of those places as I go. So the answer that I was looking for was the amber of the Dominican Republic. So we start off with next. Whoops. Okay. So Cindy's answers, boom, she gets first one right with feldspar, number two quartz, and the Dominican Republic. Till next week, be safe and take care. Oh, Cindy in South Central Pennsylvania. Ready for warm spring weather, she says. Mr. Anthony in Massachusetts. Hello, all. I haven't been participating much in past weeks. We lost my mother a few weeks ago. She was 96. I've been peeking in, however, and actually snagged some turquoise you offered. I tried for some of the amazing quartz cabs and amber, but was a little late. Mr. Anthony, I and the team here, and I'm sure all the other rock family, offer you their condolences and sense of peace at this time when it's hard. And you know, my father passed away at 91, and when people say, well, he lived a big, full life, you know, like, I know there's never any maliciousness or never anything by saying that wrong, but it could be taken and not taken wrong. But my thought on a comment like that is, yeah, maybe he did live to be 91 and a big, full life, but I wasn't ready for him to go at 91. Like I said, my dad was not mentally incapacitated in any way. And he just had to walk with a cane or a little walker. And, you know, mobility wasn't an issue, nor any other body functions. So I'm going to tell you a story. This is honest God's truth, and hopefully I can get through it. He, right at the end, he fell out of bed. And his wife, second wife of 30 years, wasn't able or strong enough to pick him back up and put him back in his bed. And so she had a hospital bed brought out. And my father was one that we already knew. He said, you know, once I become a burden on anyone in any way, or once my life becomes, what's the word? Humiliating? I don't know. In other words, if other people have to bathe or cleanse him, these kind of things, or if he can't use the restroom, he would consider, you know, his life pretty much fulfilled and wouldn't want what's after that, you know, the slow degradation of his life. So when they brought the hospital bed to him the next night, my son happened to be flying down because, you know, we saw my dad kind of getting ill. But he saw the hospital bed and he said, if I sleep one night in that bed, it will kill me. And by God, by 7 a.m., he was dead. I joke about it now because only my father, never my dad. He did not spend the night alive in that bed. He passed away. He did not sleep an entire night. And you know what? I wish I had that. I hope I would have that much control over the end of my life that I could fulfill a promise I told my family around me, you know, especially as a grizzled old miner by then, that you know, because he considered himself, once he had to be in a hospital bed, to you know, kind of humiliating. And my father led an amazing life, and it was trouble for other people then. And you know, he was going to not be so ambulatory, and that was it. I thought that for him, yeah, to be able to do that. So, Mr. Anthony, I feel for you, because I know even though your mom was 96, you weren't ready for her to go unless she was suffering. But you know, as long as they aren't, and you know, I remember the last get together with my dad, I was sitting on the front porch of a 100-year-old home out down the road from where they live in LJ. Family had rented a big farmhouse for all of us to get together, and my time with him, it was about an hour. No one was sitting around him. You know, we had a bunch of family members. Like, no one's sitting next to my dad. So I'm one of 6 kids. I pulled up rocking chair next to him, and he and I sat there and we rocked away for an hour, and that was the last time I had spent with him. So, and that was at 91. I could have done that in 92, 98, 108. In other words, that was quality time, and age had nothing to do with it. He could have been doing that, and I would have gotten so much out of it as long as he was, when they're drooling or something. So, Mr. Anthony, I'm sorry for the loss of your mother. By the time they're 96, I know you're hoping for them to make it to 100. I know we wanted my dad to. We told him. He told us he would make it to 100. Well, he tried his best. I'm glad to see you've been checking in on the show. I'll give trivia a try. He gets feldspar and quartz right. And let's see for the answer on the amber, Indonesia. Great answer there, Mr. Anthony. And very, very close. You did definitely get a country of origin for amber. Barbara in Brooklyn. Hi, Professor Shawn, Raven, GSN crew, and the whole rock family. You guys had me howling with laughter about the coprolites. I bought some last time and gave them to 3 little boys. It was the bestest gift ever. They just loved the ew factor of playing with poop. Don't we all love bathroom humor? It's the great leveler. After all, everyone has to deal with it. So make the investment in a bit of turtle dung and delight a child of any age, and adults as well. By the way, keep interacting with Asif. You guys make a great double act. We just need to hear him a little better. So then she makes her phonetic spelling of how to pronounce the pyrrhurite, which the internet alone had 3 different ways. So, all right. See, easy peasy, she says. Then she goes on and says, you are so right about pronouncing minerals named after real people. How they spoke their names should govern how the mineral is said. Bob Jonesite is easy, but Yeremajevite, or depending on exactly how you want to pronounce a Dutch word, Yeremajevite, it's with a light J. Not so much, no. That is a difficult one. What it is Yeremajevite. That would be too easy, right? To pronounce the name as it's phonetically spelled. Wrong. As to the trivia, the most common mineral in the crust is feldspar, followed by quartz. Think not only of the mineral crystals, but their weathering products, like clay from feldspar and sand from quartz. You mentioned bugs in Dominican Republic, but that's not amber, but rather is copal. You mentioned Indonesia, but that isn't known for bugs. Bugs in amber are also known from Lebanon 139 million years ago, and Myanmar, which is Burma, 99 million years old. So pick what fits your question. I opt out since I recently won. Still enjoying the daily Tucson updates through February 12th and learning a ton from all the lectures. Waiting for the vanadinite talk on 2/7 to see if the expert touches on our beige coating. If not, I will pose the question. Stay tuned. I definitely want to know the answer to that and see if you can't stump them on it. Somebody has got to have asked that question and be ready to send a photo. But in regards to amber from the Dominican Republic, it is 20 million years old, was one test done. Another one was done that put the amber at 40 million years old. So certainly well old enough to be amber, and it has been certified and documented as amber. The Dominican Republic amber, which I have sold a lot of in years past, because it was the inexpensive amber you could get with the insects in it. Because for one thing, it's known to be cleaner, okay? So the Dominican Republic amber, actually, compared to the Baltic, but remember, that's why they also heat a lot of the Baltic material to clarify it. But then you get those little spangles, those little lily pad looking reflections in it, and that's one way to tell that it's definitely been heated. Now with the insects in the amber, you've never seen in the ones I've showcased, not a single piece with any telltale signs of having been heated. It's because it hasn't been. It's got insects, likely because of the organic matter of the insect, the temperature you raise amber to, you would stand a chance of destroying the insect, thereby the value. Not worth the gamble. Also, the Dominican Republic amber has lots of gnats. They might have insects, but they're little bitty. And believe me, I know. You know, one time I remember I sold one had like 16 of it in it, but you couldn't see any of them with the naked eye and tell what it was other than a little black blip, and all required a 10-power loop and then pointing at it and kind of getting someone to, you got to teach them to know how to use a loop if they haven't used one, like say a friend, and then, you know, kind of point to it first and then get them to see it. Oh, I see it. Well, it's way too much work. These Baltic amber, and I'm showcasing one more today, have larger insects, the pieces I have. Now, Baltic amber can have those tiny insects too, but there's much greater chance of bigger. So here's what I'm saying. The Baltic amber with the insects, it's a much rarer find than the Dominican Republic amber with insects. And if I was to prefer value one over the other, I would prefer a bigger insect from the Baltic area, that has not been heat treated, versus the amber from the Dominican Republic. Just my opinion. Now, do remember this, Dominican Republic amber does have known as the blue amber. Sometimes the blue isn't as blue as you might think when you actually see what they call blue amber. Just keep that in mind so your bubble's not burst too much more than I already just did. And the other thing, all of it fluoresces beautifully, so that's always kind of neat to see. Let me see if anything else about amber. Yeah, the age of it, 20 to 40 million years old. Indonesian is 20 million. Baltic is 30 to 40 million years old. The oldest amber period is from the Carboniferous era, when there was lots of trees, is about 325 million years old. So that's the rundown. But here is the main connection that might have thrown anybody off if you had picked up what Barbara had thought as far as the Dominican Republic amber not being amber. It's Colombia. Colombia is the queen of copal. Or is that queen of Copacabana? No, never mind. That's Brazil. Right. So Colombia is not only known as the place to get copal, which I have heard, and it was shameful, copal described and even marketed as young amber. Really? Give me a break. The minimum amount of time they figured it takes for tree resin to polymerize, it actually has to go through a chemical change, is at least 100,000 years. Copal can be, as long as it gets hard, it can be anywhere from last week to, 1,000 years old, 10,000 years old. But what it is not polymerized. It is not a rich color. It is very easy to heat up and reconstitute and fit it into different shapes and to push other insects into it. You got to watch for air bubbles. Sometimes you can actually see the air bubbles following the insect as they put it in when it was malleable, warm. Something hard like spiders always don't work so well because the body twists and squishes out unless it's done really slowly like Mother Nature over time. Scorpions. So they use things like scorpions. But if you see a lizard in them, a scorpion, these things in the natural world of amber with insects would be worth thousands. And so price usually will reflect the fact that it is a man-made product. The copal may have be genuine copal. There's a lot of it in Colombia, but the importance is to know the value is a fraction of anything in amber, and it's nothing more than an oddity, you know, something fun if you want to have on your cocktail table. But if you really want to talk about, you know, what made the Jurassic Park movie so great, you got to have a real piece of amber with a real insect in it, and then you can talk up that it really contains a dinosaur in the mosquito's abdomen. Because, hey, once you have the DNA, you have the critter, don't you? Okay, so let's go to Mr. James, known as Jimbo. Hello, Shawn and fellow rock stars. I am impressed again. Another informative show. I will answer trivia questions. Indonesia. Very good on the answer there, Jimbo. Coming in close. And then feldspar and quartz. So you got the feldspar and quartz, right? As we go about our walk of life, keep your eyes to the ground. Who knows what's to be found? Blessings to all, Jimbo in Delaware. Blessings back at you there, Mr. Jimbo. Miss Gabby says, greetings, gang. Running late with my email, so I'll be quick. Another great show. Missed out on a couple items, but did get the jade toilet paper holder. The sales rep and I both got a chuckle out of it. Okay, awesome. Not trying to get the potty talk started again, even though I was cracking up during the show. The matching towel holders were gone. Bummer. Withdrawing from trivia, but answers are feldspar 1 and quartz 2 and Dominican Republic. Best to all, Miss Gabby. Opting out, but Miss Gabby, you would have been in for a winner because, yeah, that's a real small pool it looks like we're having. Miss Elisa in Florida. Hello, Professor Shawn, the lovely Raven, GSN crew, and Rock family. Oh, by the way, Miss Gabby, if you received something in the mail that you didn't order, it was just something I had that I thought you could add to your ammonite collection. So I know what you're looking for with the bigger one that got sold, so I'm keeping that in mind. But on this other one, you may already have something like it, but just add it to your collection or give to a youngster or something if you have one like it. But if that's what that is, if that just showed up, it wasn't some long lost free item. By the way, Brad, I am going to give them, if they don't have the item back from the errantly sent free item, I have another item, and I'll show that to you today that I'm replacing it with. Okay, so let's see. Miss Elisa, okay, thank you so much for the black diamonds. They look amazing, and I'm excited to see them in person. Thank you again. I'm opting out, but my answers to this week's questions are feldspar, and second is quartz, and Dominican Republic. Wow. You would have been one of the rare correct answers in for a winning spot. My favorite item of the week was the Boulder Opal Skull and Miss Gabby's pendant. Andrew did a fantastic job, and the lovely Raven described it perfectly. Have a great weekend, everyone. Yeah, if you want to hear, because I even wrote it down, what her description of that pendant was, watch last week's show. It's worth watching it for to see extremely cool wire wrapping on an item of Miss Gabby's that was... well, it was from outer space, let's just say. Miss Penny, we're getting to hear from. Hello, Shawn, the lovely Raven, amazing GSN crew, and fellow rockhounds. I hope everyone is well. Answer to number 1 is carbon, and then number 2 is quartz carbon. You know what? That is a really, really excellent answer. See, you know what? Answers never always have to be correct, but I love the interjection of other ideas because I actually didn't think of carbon necessarily, but absolutely that is a very common element in our earth, in our sky. Yeah, sky, yeah, you talk about all the CO2 emissions, that's carbon dioxide from cars and carbon monoxide from cars and greenhouse gases. Yeah, carbon in all of it. There's carbon in our bodies. Without carbon, we'd fall apart. So that is a really good answer. I wonder what the percentage of carbon, and they actually have that figure in the Earth's crust relative to other items. I would probably say like the third. So we were talking about, even though carbon is an element, so we're really kind of first talking about minerals. But But if we were talking about elements, I wonder how that would follow and where that would fall. I'll have to probably, curiosity will get the best of me and look that up. Question, answer to number 2. Got it right, Dominican Republic. Shawn, thank you for another amazing show. The last few shows have been phenomenal. Such incredible crystals and specimens. Faves of the week, the sugilite slice, the rutilated quartz, and that boulder opal sphere. Similar ones to other people's favorites. Unfortunately, I can't afford anything new since I just paid $600 for the first treatment of God knows how many for my varicose veins, which are very large and extremely painful. Man, I feel for you I don't have any of those, but you see, same thing. I have got a fortune's worth of work to be done in my mouth, and I just don't know what to do about it. So everyone be patient with that. I already feel like I'm trying to just smile less, and that would be a shame, wouldn't it? But that's what it makes me feel like I need to do. Or I just disappear into the woods, follow that gold I found, and become a grizzled old miner, and then to have any teeth I'm doing would be great, it'd be expected, right? I just need me a meal. Yeah? So, as for Miss Gabby's pendant, it is almost ethereal. Kudos to Andrew for his spectacular work. It was well worth the wait. That's it for this week. I wish everyone a wonderful week and hope to see you next week. Miss Penny in Quebec. And then, hello again. She says, oops, I forgot to answer the second question, Dominican Republic, but I already wrote that in for you. Mr. Charles in Oregon says, ciao, fellow rockhounds, great show. I like the Loch Ness Monster tooth. Yeah, that was at Lasmasaur. That was really cool. Your wire wrap pendant looks like it was well worth the wait, Miss Gabby. Very nice. Dear Professor, at the end of the show, you conveyed the notion of the positive feedback loop between one's level of subject knowledge and their appreciation thereof. I'm sure everyone here has firsthand experience with this, but it felt very refreshing to hear it emphasized. Thanks, Charles. Thanks, Charles, for pointing that out and recognizing that. Take care and have a wonderful week. With love, Charles. Love you back, Charles. Trivia answer. Question 1, the most common mineral found in Earth's crust is feldspar. The second most common is quartz. Question 2, Dominican Republic was the other country mentioned for being known to have amber with the insects. So, of course, Barbara would know other countries with the insects, even maybe more so than what I might have known. But the question was, other country that I mentioned. Remember, I can't make it too tough. I can name a whole bunch of others. So that's where, again, you hear the question, and then maybe you don't hear it exactly because you have so much knowledge spilling over that all of it comes out. And that's where I have to put the brakes on some of that and make it to where, questions are educational at every level. Okay, so the thing about Dominican Republic amber is most all of it is from one species of tree, and the Hymenea protea, or similar to that. And so it's an extinct tree now, so you can't find anything like it. But at the time, it would have been pretty prolific because of, and it must have been a big sap producer, resin producer, because of the amount of amber found in the Dominican Republic. Okay, now, let me see something here. I wanted to also step back in the room. So let me read a couple of comments for his benefit. So, this is from Miss Barbara. If you guys had me howling with laughter about the coprolites, I bought some last time. I gave them to my 3 little boys. It was the bestest gift ever. They just love the EU factor of playing with poop. Don't we all love bathroom humor? It's the great leveler. After all, everyone has to deal with it, so make the investment in a bit of turtle dung and delight a child of any age or adult. By the way, keep interacting with Asif. You guys make a great double act. We just need to hear him a little better. Yeah, we need to mic him up, don't we? He would actually be amazing on air and has a lot of knowledge. Yeah, a whole lot. Been here a long time listening to all of us crazy hosts.
One day.
He said he'd last one day. I know. You know, I remember early on when I first started here a long time ago, there were some comments made on, I guess there was Facebook then, but actually no, it was comments on a page about gem shopping. And this lady commented about, oh, it must be a lot of fun for the host just to go out there and get paid to talk and have fun with the jewelry. And a reply back from another regular client she goes, I thought so too. She goes, so I went into the bathroom and I started talking to myself. Talking in a way about jewelry pieces I knew I had so that I kept talking to make sense. And after 20 minutes, I was tripping over all of my own words. What I was saying did not come out anyway, the way my mind thought it. And I'm paraphrasing what she wrote. And she goes, these hosts go out there and do it live without any chance of, redo, and do it for 6 hours straight. And she lasted 20 minutes. So I thought that was a pretty good comment of that what may seem easy necessarily always isn't. And that's why you don't see Raven here. She would be amazing. Her level of knowledge about the semi-precious would top anybody's in here, and her taste in jewelry is unique and you'd love it, but she is terrified. And this is even a recorded show. Even though we've never recorded a single shot, not a single one in all these shows, I've never said, oh, I don't like what I said, let's redo it. No, we shoot it just like a live show. For better or worse, that is. So she's still terrified of that. So this comment could be, even though I think he would be amazing.
It's not about amazing, it's about custom.
Yeah, it's about comfort. That's what he just said.
Language.
Yeah. He is amazing at what he does, and that's behind the camera, so we'll keep both of us to exactly there. I accidentally knocked a switch off last week, and he came bolting out of his little control room. I thought he was going to fly right over the acoustic drapes, and all it was flipping a switch back the other way. But the man knows his buttons, and you don't push them. Okay, so let's see who the winner is. We did not have between the...
Barbara, love her. She's so nice. It was great meeting her.
Yes. Miss Gabby?
Oh, Miss Gabby, yeah.
Yeah, Miss Gabby. And in case I hadn't already said to you, Miss Gabby, Asif cherished the moment he shared with you when he got to meet you before I did even. And he said he really felt like he was someone famous because of the kindness and attention that you showed him and the appreciation you showed him. And that's where really the appreciation needs to go. It's to the people behind the scenes. I'm just a mouthpiece. All I get to do is, and I can talk 6 hours. I actually was doing the shows for 9 hours because this is my passion. And I know every bit about how the piece of jewelry is made, how a ring is cut, how a stone is found. So there is a lot of knowledge I can ramble on about and make it still very interesting. But that can't always be done, and done with a sense of passion that it is. Asif does his amazing work with a same level of passion, and why it is so important to him, just like it is to me, to get a crystal shot just right. Well, even though to me it's just flipping a switch, but that just shut down the entire side of all the TV monitors and lights and all, that's all. Just one little switch. I understand it. So, Yep. Okay. The winner is. So, by the way, Miss Gabby, Awesome says hi, and he really enjoyed meeting you, if I didn't get that out. Okay, so let's see. After the opt-outs and the people that didn't win, we only had 2 eligible winners, and making them the sole winner, let me get out the prize, being, yep, here it is. Look at this. This is something a little bit different. So, you know, right item for the right place, I have a feeling, as always. Look at this. This is actually a really cool piece of quartz. Of course, carved in a skull, and I love the inclusions in it. But cooler yet is, as plain as this might be, and Charles is cut stone, so he'll have a lot of fun with this. This is some amazing smoky quartz. So it is natural smoky quartz. And when you see this super dark smoky quartz that is almost opaque, there's so much of it out there that is dyed that you have to be aware of that. But look at the clarity. You can see nicely into this, and you can saw this up. I'm sure there's fascinating stones in here, but as it is, thank you, sir, you have a just unique piece of smoky quartz that you don't often see like that. And who knows, I would look for anhydrous in this. It has a series of bubbles, and you never know what you might find in doing that. Okay, so let me tuck that away. We'll be back with the start of the show. Okay, everybody, don't get excited. I'm not going to sell these. You know, if you missed out, I sold 1,500 of these Thuliwood boxes. We sold them 3 to a item number, and this is when I did the live show. We could not keep them. They are so cool. No two are ever alike. That was what I think was amazing. Now, I'm not going to talk about it much because we talked about it before. It's Thuliwood, Thuya. And it's a very aromatic wood coming from, well, the Middle East area, kind of from Morocco, through Algeria, over through Israel, and through that stretch. Just a beautiful, beautiful wood. They make these, and out of the 1,500 I had, I mean, I tried to find 2 that were even remotely similar. No, didn't happen. They were true to their word. Every single one was different. Okay, all I'm doing right now, there's no item number to this, but if you guys remember from a few weeks ago, we did a deep dive into trying to find poor Brad from Thanksgiving time when he won a free item. He hadn't received it, and he was so patient in waiting. Well, we looked into it. The item accidentally got sent to a client that wasn't a member of our regular rock family and hadn't participated much with gem shopping. So I would love to for her or the person to do the right thing and send it back. But in the event that doesn't happen, I don't want you to have to wait any longer, Brad, to get your free item. So I am replacing it with this. Obviously, the Thuliwood box is going to be a little different, but it is super cool nonetheless. And I want to show you what I substituted it for. They are, of course, I had to do an upgrade, right? So how about this? Russian Heliodor. Look at that. That is a upgrade for sure. Natural color Heliodor, and then a much bigger, nicer piece of wonderful Moroccan azurite and malachite. So bigger, better on both, and I thought this would go well with the Thuliwood because the dealers that I did business with, they were Moroccan, and the Thuliwood most likely is actual Moroccan origin also. Okay, so now I'm going to put those up, and in the meantime, what you're going to be looking at is this next item, 11613. 1324, and you have never seen, I haven't seen it. I was going back through some of my amber. Remember, that is a subject we've been talking about, and look what I found. Look what I found. Look at this carving. This is a beautiful carving of something I normally haven't seen done, which is, of course, a crab, but it's, well, we call them like ghost crabs in Florida. And this kind of looks similar because it has the eye sockets like the ghost crabs in Florida. If you've ever been in Florida and went along the beach and see a crab that just runs down in its hole long before you can get there, and they are above the water line, that's this guy or something similar. So this one is in really great shape, except for maybe some cat hair. I don't know what that is. And here's the thing. Indonesian amber has some organic material that is found in it, but they really haven't found insects in it. But it has been certified as amber by the GIA, and it's been estimated to be around 20 million years old. Now, when you see me describe this as cherry orange in color, I actually had Christy in quality control who does this show, and she goes, Shawn, she texts me, where's the cherry orange? She goes, I can't find it. I said, have you taken a light and backlit it? She goes, no, let me go do that with my light. And she came back with this, oh, I can't believe that. Wanda and I were both looking at this. So let me show you. All right, here is what you really get for a body tone. There it is. Look at that. A wonderful, wonderful cherry orange, and the real deal. So, of course, you get to the outer edges, and it's going to be a little bit different in color. But, yeah, that is a... you can see also how clean it is. You have a little bit of other organic matter, but it is, for amber, relatively really clean. And, thank you, sir, the really neat thing also is it fluoresces. A beautiful fluorescence. So they go look great in a fluorescent collection. I have this on sale. It is one of the big ones that is in really beautiful condition overall this period of time. And, you know, it does amber some good to keep it from drying out if you do actually keep it like a light mineral oil, something like that on it. I think you'll find not only will you help the polish of it and the light aspect of it, but again, you'll keep it moist and kind of from drying out, which in some amber does become a problem because that's where you see the little crackles on other ambers as well, and what that's from. Okay, let me have a moment to put that up. Oh, yeah, price might help. Not giving this guy away. Just you get a little bit of bonus there. Okay, price on this. Sorry, let me look. That's what I was doing. Yeah, I have. That's where the sale price comes from. Only $77. $77. With amber being a harness like 1.5, you know, it's so easy to remove material that you can't put back on. So no room for error. So carving in softer materials is so much harder than hard materials. Hard materials, it goes slow, and there's room to correct your error before you make too much of one. So anyway, I'll let this little guy get cleaned off, and I'll be right back. Look at this. This comes with a story, and a great one. Obviously, you know, sometimes, I guess I should have put this up and let you try to identify it before the graphic came up, because from what you already learned and seen, you should have been able to know, again, that this was a Crabtree emerald mine specimen, and a really fine one. Now, I showed that large one a couple weeks ago. Not sure if it sold or not. It would be an amazing collector's piece for someone if they want to spend what that one is. A lot of different emerald in it. Now, let me show you. I am going to make this spin around a little bit because, let me show you with my hand so you get an idea of size. All right, here's my hand. So this is not a totally small piece. this, okay, right there you see that most likely is a garnet. You have very distinct crystals, as you can see, of schorl, black tourmaline. There will be also hornblende in there, maybe some augite. The one thing I can assure you is that there are more emeralds on the interior. I sent a picture of this to one of the biggest prospectors in the state of Georgia, involved with some of the most impressive amethyst and quartz sites that there have been in Georgia. And so I sent him a picture of this, and he said, do you want me to send it off and have it cut into cabochons? And that was his first thought. And I know why he thought that. Because if you do that, when you send that off, it'll be sliced up, and every single emerald in there will be exposed in a way that will benefit selling the entire piece and every emerald that's in it. In other words, the way it looks now, it's very cool as a specimen, but you're basically giving away the value of the emeralds inside the piece that you know are there, but of course don't get the benefit of. Did you see the bottom down here? See, there's even more emeralds in here. See, all across there. And I think they were pretty much visible on almost every side. Look at how large. Look at that. That's quite large. Look at my finger. That is quite large for a Crabtree emerald in the matrix. A lot of the matrix specimens are smaller. Look at these. These are large sizes compared to many of the others. And there you go. So there is some more pink, either garnet or I'm not sure if thulite is, it's found in the Spruce Pine District, but not sure if it's associated with anything at Crabtree. But there is definitely another gem material here. So here it is in my hand. You can see it, so you know the relative size of it, because in the Crabtree emerald mine world, this is a very collectible, desirable, large find. In other words, the Crabtree mine hasn't been open for commercial mining in quite some time. What is open there are only the tailings. So you pay this sum of money, and all you get to dig in is material that has been already gone through a zillion, billion, quadrillion, million, maybe add another trillion on the end of that times. You know, the chance of finding anything even remotely similar to this would be pretty much slim to none. So there is no more except what's out there, and they're asking a lot of money for it, or they're converting them to these matrix cabs where they benefit from the whole thing. Well, you know, I live and roll by a different set of rules, and I know the value of this. I know this is something that a good deal of money would be asked for, especially if you went to like a local rock shop in the Spruce Pine area. You know, across the entire United States, you know, there's other places to find it other than Cowrie Valley, you know, where rubies and sapphires were found. There's other places. There is Montana, especially for sapphires. There is other places where corundum has been found. But emeralds, no. The emeralds in North America, especially the United States, the Crabtree Spruce Pine District is about it. So to get and have a distinct specimen, and again, by looking at this specimen, anybody that knows that area, knows the pegmatites, knows the material, takes one look at it, and would say that's Crabtree mine material. Yeah, and they would be right. It is, again, very distinct. I mean, look at that. I am tempted, if I wasn't such a specimen nut, I would be really tempted to slice this below those emeralds and see what else it has to offer. Maybe right down through there. I don't know. It has a lot more. You could be cutting into something huge. You really could. That is such a tempting morsel. I mean, North Carolina emerald, really? All right, so I'm going to make this at a fantastic price for someone. And, you know, I won't be able to get anything else cool like this, but I've enjoyed it. I'm going to pass on my enjoyment to someone else, and you know what? I'm going to do it for only $118. $118. That specimen, well, it would be $300, $400, $500. Not sure how much, but with the size of those emeralds and as many as there are, as many sizes there is, it would be a quite a pricey piece for certain. Yeah. Now, next I have a couple of things, and one. Yeah, I'm just going to show you this now. I wouldn't want to run out of time later. Let's look at item 116-1224. And this piece, it is museum quality. Yeah. And when you see it, you'll know why. Since most of you are familiar enough with this material, I think you will concur by the time I'm done showing it to you. Fibrous malachite. Look at that. If you thought, again, that you had seen everything cool I have had to offer, obviously this would prove you wrong. That looks more organic than it does inorganic. In other words, if you played, what is it, rock, plant, or however that game goes, I think I'd get a lot of people that would say, wow, that's a plant, you know, who didn't know rocks and minerals. It could easily look like a plant. You're only looking at one portion of it, though. Look at the weight, 854 grams. That is not too, that's only 50, 60 grams shy of being 2 pounds. This is from the Menengi mine in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And this is something that I have had for over 12 years or so. And malachite of this quality is become extremely difficult to find. Now let me show you. It comes with a little label that will give you a little more info. And the nice thing I think about the label was, and this was actually a native dealer that actually came over here from the Congo, that he actually color coordinated. Look at that, his labels. So the Miringi mine, or however it's pronounced, you can see, so you have your copper carbonate, and from the Lakasi, Katanga, People's Republic of the Congo. So just a neat little label that you can show with it. Now, let me give you a little more. We'll zoom in on this area in a moment. Let me turn this for you. And as you turn this, you can see just how many different areas of display there are and looks. Okay, so you saw that other side. Look at this side. Fibrous malachite, as opposed to like carved malachite or the malachite what you see with the concentric rings of eyes, that's formed more from a stalactite type of deposition. Well, this doesn't form anything like that. These are crystals. This forms differently and is many, many, many times more rare. Here's the goethite that you might see if it is in any of the information, and a little bit of limonite. Other than that, it is all malachite, and that's just some surface goethite, which is found with it. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Here's the difference between this fibrous malachite and other fibrous malachites I've had. The length of the crystals. This is some of the longest fibrous crystals I have seen in any specimens. And of course, the size being this big is what helps be able to make that claim. Look at that. It is on every side, but there is actually some place that I think is even more impressive on this specimen. You're thinking, what are you talking about? Where could that possibly be? Well, let's tip it back a little bit. You can see the incredible fibrous nature of it even goes down towards the bottom. Look at now, right up here, right in this bowl, this little depressed area, you have stunning crystalline malachite. And it is along the lines of some of the finest crystals of malachite I have ever seen. Can you do your magic, Dave, on your zoom in with that camera? You're in? Okay. There we go. That's what I was looking for. There we go. And let me add the light. These are malachite crystals. And that individual, not just as part of a spray, this is exceptional. Yeah, if you can't hold it, I'll bring it, something else in there. We're in at such a high degree that you may see actual other unique things like, what are those? This piece, thank you, sir, and it's ensuing other crystals. Let's look. It's neat because these are actually protected. You could actually turn this piece around and nothing is damaged. Okay, here we go. You can really see all these individuals. Now, obviously, a piece this size, of this quality, fibrous malachite is expensive to start with. Let me clean my loops. And let me see which one may work better, because I just want to look right into here a little bit more and see how well that turns out. Because when you can focus in when you can focus in on, let me get something here, the crystals, you can actually see that they have a clarity to them that is, wow, like nothing you've ever seen. It's like a facet grade clarity. And I apologize for us experimenting here, but it's really kind of neat. and ground that we haven't really covered in this kind of magnification level, which right now we're shooting at 35 plus there. So we're shooting at 50 times magnification. But it just gives you an idea of the other. There we go. That's what I was looking for. It's not like a telescope where you can get a look ahead of time. Okay, let me just pull that away, see if that makes any difference. Okay, you see the dot, the red dot, well, to the left of it. That is, it could be an emerald crystal. That is a transparent crystal of malachite. And this thing is loaded with them, as you can see. Thank you, David. You did a great job. Yeah. Oh, that's even greater closing that out. As we slowly back away, this piece, I spun this around, I can't tell you how long, and what it took for me to decide to sell it. And then I looked in the mirror and I said, "Oh, Shawn, you gotta sell it. You gotta have some teeth." It is simply museum quality. Oh, Dave, that's exactly the look. Museum quality. And I think there are a lot of you out there right now that are doing your oohs and ahs as I am, because looking at this like it, wow. I've seen fibrous malachite. You've seen fibrous malachite. But we have not seen malachite along this level. Look, and the size of it. All right, thank you. The thing about it is we've used several different layers and combinations of lighting, and oh, look at that. That looks like the cover of Rock and Gem magazine. By the way, have you seen the cover of the latest Rock and Gem magazine? What is it? It is a spray of emerald crystals. I couldn't believe it. It was hard for me to even imagine that those were emerald crystals. If you don't have a Rock and Gem subscription, please do the company a benefit so they do yourself a benefit. It comes out to like $2 an issue or something, and so well worth it, monthly issue. And so the cover, or here's the funny thing. What did I just show? I showed Made in America emerald from Crabtree Mine. This isn't made in America, but it's a stunning green crystalline spray mineral, just like the emerald crystals are on the front. So the thing about it, as valuable as this piece is, it's certainly going to be a lot less than that emerald specimen. But yet, I'm not so sure. Now, the emerald specimen was certainly one to go, but would you put that in someone else's hand to look at? Oh, heavens, no. It would be far too delicate, far too much money to entrust in anyone's hand. Would I put this in someone else's hand? Absolutely. It's heavy. You can hold it. Look at this. I can hold it like this. I can do this. I can do this. I can throw it back and forth. I am not going to break a single one of these fibrous crystals. That's the other nice thing. It's not like a scolasite or something like that. This is durable. Phenomenal. And pretty much irreplaceable. I have not seen a piece of fibrous malachite that can touch this. You can't touch this. Please, Shawn, don't go there. That's what my son would be saying. Even though I tell him, that's from my day. But, what do these kids know? They think they invented everything. Okay, here we go. Here is probably, when I worked it out, it was all the way down to the lowest price I could make on that, except, well, I don't even know any lower. I might sell it for a loss if I had to, but anyway, take advantage of this opportunity, because I don't think you could go out and find another piece with this much wow effect to it. And this is, especially for the price of only, price on this one, an opportunity at only $348. One last spin all the way around, because this will be wrapped up safely, but it's not like wrapping a scolecite. Guaranteed to get it to your home without any missing crystals. Something almost impossible with the scolecite. Okay, I'll tuck it away. I'll be right back. Well, if I've got the Geiger out, also known as my Geiger counter, then you know I have a really special presentation I'm getting ready to show you. It's going to involve a gemstone, it's going to involve knowledge, it's going to involve a couple other items. For one, you see that little beanie sticking out over the top? Well, what I'm showing you is the top of a thuya wood box. Okay, I'm showing you the reading through something as simple as a wood, okay, thuya wood. And we're going to talk about radioactive gemstones and minerals in this little informational offering. So this in the box has a range of what, 90 to 100, 110 kind of thing, count per minute. Here's the thuya wood box that you're seeing. Now, let's unveil this and see. Now, for one thing, this is available to everyone, okay? So this, the other thuya wood box was part of the free item that someone else got that I re-gave to Brad. This, I'm giving the thuya wood box with the item as your radiational lead lined box, so to speak. Except something as simple as wood will bring it down to a count per minute that is equivalent to, let's say, a shark's tooth from Florida. All right, has about the same count per minute after the wood box. Let's open this up and let's see what is making that have that count, because now we look at it, oh, something made it drop all the way to what is the ambient count per minute. In other words, what is in the air around us all the time. And you can see, yeah, we live amongst radiation all the time. And you see whatever was in there is gone. Okay, now I'm just going to put this where you're staring at that wood box, and then I'm going to tell Asif it's item 1160424, and I am willing to offer to anyone that wants this, because I know you guys are responsible collectors, one of the rarest gems there is, and that is econite. Look at this. This, for those of you that want something no one else has, or want something that is extremely collectible and very hard to find, it's metamict. Now that you know what metamict is, you can understand a little bit of haziness. It looks like a Ceylon zircon, doesn't it? One of the green zircons that loses its crystalline structure by the natural radiation in the Earth's crust, okay? So that is green zircon. This is econite. Now, let me just show you so I can turn the Geiger counter off that drives Asif nuts, because he has the headphones on and he can hear that clickety, clickety, click. Now, let me show you the difference in what that wood does as I bring it up, and I'll show you the plate. Now, we're looking at counts per minute. Look at that. That is going to top 1,000. Now we're at 1,100, 1,300. Okay, so basically this guy's going to top out at 12 or 1,300 counts per minute. Basically like 10 times what it was. Here is the plate that reads it, and that's all I have to do. Now, because it is mostly an alpha emitter, That's a particular type of radiation, alpha emitter. Most alpha emissions can be stopped by a piece of paper and radiate out no further than a couple few inches. Beta, it can radiate out 6 inches to a couple feet. It can penetrate a few more things, and then gamma is a very powerful emission that can penetrate through most anything and is deadly. Not that this isn't either, it's just a much less deadlier form. Now, to tell you how much less deadly, I'm going to show you something in a minute. So let's talk about the information though up on the sheet, and let's give you a little information about econite. 1953, I believe, or so, was only when it was discovered by the person that its name is named after, a gentleman called roughly Econaiake, depending on how exactly that is pronounced. But he was a local gemologist to Sri Lanka, Ceylon, and he thought he had in the gravels, because this came from the alluvial gravels where most Ceylon gemstones come from. And he noticed these water-worn tumbled pebbles and thought them to be something different. And sure enough, in time, it was discovered to be something different and named after him. The only recorded incident of a fatality due to econite was by a gentleman that did nothing but sell econite in a 10 by 8 foot room where he had the specimens lining the room all around him, and it of course, radiation poisoning, it killed him. And remember, the first atomic bomb, 1945, radiation was still something new in the 50s and not completely understood by most people. And then, so you think about mineral dealers, just exactly how much, they knew about it, or even if they had Geiger counters or whatnot. I'm not sure, I don't know. But of course, with this sale, you get all the information, and I'm not going to ask that much for the stone. Now, what I am going to show you, and this is by request, if you are interested, and of course that would be responsible parties, then I have an opportunity at 2 other stones, and they're bigger, they are stunning, and of course, the bigger, the more rare. I have a 404 over a 4 carat. This stone, at a really good value. Let me show you. And it's not something I necessarily would want to sell, but sometimes you have to. Look at this. Look at that. Look at the cut. The cut is really phenomenal. I wish I could say I cut it, but I guess in a way I'm glad I didn't, because that would, the exposure would be interesting as to see how much. And the bigger a stone is, just to give you an idea, so you have all the information. Here's the stone, here's the Geiger counter, and so I'm inches away from it. If I put it all the way up to it like the other one, you can see it's going to shoot way past the 11 or 1200 count per minute. That's topping 5,000 right now, and you can hear it. You can hear that, how fast that counter is ripping away. And each time that you hear a sound, that means a particle is being released from the gemstone and striking the machine and registering that as one of the counts. Now, once you start moving, this is about 7 or 8 inches away. So we're down to 250, and you can see the distance away. You see how far that is. And that's down in a safe range. I mean, most zircons will have register a CPM in the hundreds, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Now, there's also, as bad as that sound, here, I'll show you one more. Here is, I'm not going to take it out though. Well, I don't know. Maybe I will. Here is, in case you want this, because I'm going to give you one flat price per carat on these stones. Here is an incredible 204. So both of these are over their carat marks, which was, I think, wonderful. Look at the cutting on that stone. Look at that. And then it has, relative to its size, quite a high, over 4,000 count per minute. Now, these are considered gemstones, but they are not recommended for to be worn. They are collector's stones, and they definitely do not recommend their use in jewelry. But, they don't also recommend wearing a 125 karat diamond either, kind of thing in jewelry. So, beautiful, expensive things or unique, rare things can be enjoyed, but on a different level. Econite. Here is the magic to it. It's a calcium thorium silicate, basically, but it can also be replaced with anything with uranium, and it makes the stone metamict, meaning instead of natural radiation in the Earth's ground causing it to lose its crystalline structure, it is the actual element itself in the stone that does the same thing, making it metamict. So you have a gem with a hardness of 6, 6.5, tetragonal crystal system, and a real gem discovered only in 1953. So that is, let's see, tanzanite and tsavorite discovered in 1967. So it's one of the more recent ones, but not something you can put on your hand. All right. This stone, price on the small one, I'm going to remove the big one, and remember, they're roughly two, you know what, I'm not going to pick that up, even though I could, but I won't, because, of course, just like handling orpiment or real guard, which are arsenic or minerals, you always want to wash your hands after handling any rock or mineral, even if it's a piece of quartz. You don't know where it's been, right? So with these, always wash your hands. All right. Now, this stone is a rare chance. I even have up there in the description 1,000 count per minute. This one, I've had it for years, those who have watched me. I showed these in the live show, and the way I said it was, if anyone is interested in a collector's gem that is a responsible collector, call in and let me know, and I'll tell you what the stone is. I didn't even use the R word, radioactive. But with all of you, we've talked about this before. I brought in the Geiger counter. You're familiar with it. And, I thought it was time to offer you something special. And, for you collectors out there, where else would you find such a thing? So, it's up to 30% thorium content in these, which is pretty neat. It's not just like a trace element for the Geiger counter reaction. So I kind of like that high content. You get what you pay for. The Earth only holds 3 natural isotopes in the Earth that are natural, and that's uranium-238, thorium-232, and potassium-40. We know about potassium-40. That's what creates ametrine. That's what causes color in many other stones. Now, to show you the difference in radioactivity, I have my malachite box out.
Can you give me the price on that?
Yes, I'm sorry. I got away. That price on that stone, I am offering that guy 47 points at... Oh, it's right here. Sorry about that. I am offering this guy for only $58. $58. Now the other stones, the 4 carat and the 2 carat, roughly they're going to be super sale priced. So the 4 carat is roughly going to be $400, and the other one just say $200. $100 a carat. All right. I just want to show you how you protect things like this. Here's a malachite box. We can take down all the other info. You have the price. Everyone has the price on that one. Here's a malachite box. If you look at this, and this is where, you know, the safety factor comes in when you collect such things. Okay, so you can see this. This is just ambient reading, maybe a little over. You're in the 70s, 80s. Normally it's anywhere from 30s to 60s, so no big deal. But this is basically acts like a lead-lined box. You know, malachite is a copper carbonate. It's a metal involved. I'm just going to take the lid off. All right, and you're going to hear that scream. You're looking at, it's going to go over, yeah, 14, 19,000, 20,000. So what's in there is actually genuine U-238 that we just talked about, a natural uranium that is present in ores in the earth. Now it's the gray one, pieces of metal that you see in there. Now what I've done is I've actually put white topaz in there and some other minerals because you know Shawn loves to experiment. And I have a piece of sphene and a piece of topaz, and I'm seeing if I can change the color of any of them. And so that's a...
Nuking the sphene?
I am nuking the sphene. That's a great terminology and for it. So I'm nuking a tanzanite, I'm nuking a sphene, and I won't get it out right now. Well, I could, since I can just do this. Let me show you my experiment, because you know topaz is radiated. And let me ask everybody, let me see if you can see what I see. Don't I see, isn't that a little blue? That one right there. Did I change the color ever so slightly? That's really not the kind of, that is the uranium, pure U-238. So it was absolutely colorless, I know. And yeah, topaz. And I'm trying to make it blue, as you know, that's how topaz is created, except it's a little bit different type of radiation that actually does it. But it was completely colorless. Yeah. Yeah, your blue light against the wall, it could be. So anyway, it's just having a little fun and doing it safely. As you notice, there is a huge safety factor to how I do this, and I already had my lead-lined boxes, so to speak. And so that's been going on a couple years. I'll change out those stones because don't look like I'm doing a whole lot, you know.
Before and after.
Yeah, a before. I actually do have a before picture to compare to see if. I know we should do it officially. You're right, like the crystal growing experiments we did. So to show you the safety, so it not only goes in there, but then it also goes in this little cute box that I got a gift card in. So between those two, it completely shuts down all the external radioactivity from beyond that box. And you know, you don't want anything unless you can keep it safe, and that extends into any gem and mineral.
Send it to them, it'll be sent in a little plastic baggie.
Awesome, you just destroyed my presentation. Oops, I didn't account for that. No, that's where they get the wood box, and that's where I showed the before and after. So you crack me up of, and why I planned it that way. So you could see that you're getting it in something that protects the radiation. And it didn't need to be a metal box. A wood box will do fine. Oh, we need to put him back from whence he came. Yeah, and so that ends the presentation for now. We'll be right back. Okay, to add one more moment of thought to the actual safety of what we were just cutting up about, even though you saw how truly safe we play it, because here is, and you get this printout too. If you understood all that, I would explain all that, because I do, but since most people don't, I won't. All right, bottom line, here's your estimated exposure in millirems per hour if held in the hand for 1 hour. All right, so here's the list. Okay, here's what's become important. Remember, this 5 carats to a gram. All right, if we get down to 1 gram, we're talking about a 5 carat stone. All right, this paragraph here explains exactly what we're dealing with. Okay, note, the average annual estimated exposure in the US from background radiation, external sources, and consumer products is 360 millirem. To put this in perspective, at almost 500 carats, which is about 100 grams, a little over 20 hours of holding the world's largest econite, which is this stone they're talking about, this 500 carat stone, holding the world's largest econite would alone match the average annual estimated exposure. So 20 hours you hold a 100 gram stone in your hand, and it's equal to a year's worth of that external radiation. You know when you saw the Geiger counter going beep, 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 beep as I just held it, and it ranged anywhere from 30 to 50 counts per minute? That's the radiation it's talking about. Just the natural radiation that is in and around us at any given time, including in my house. It's the same reading. You can't escape it. It's there. Okay, when you look at that number, that actually sounds like, wow, only 20 hours equals a year's worth. But how big of an econite are you really going to be holding? A 5 carat econite, 1 gram. Now, remember, the largest I just showed you was 4 carats. So smaller than that. And the one I offered for sale was less than half a carat. So we can take this number and let's just say our stone is 1 carat, and we can multiply out the number of days by 5. All right, so a 5 carat, 1 gram stone would take a little over 83 days of close contact to match the annual average estimate. When you look at that number, then you see, oh, 83 days to match only the 1 year's worth of external radiation, which of course is harmless, pretty much, or we'd all be dead, right? Now, our stone isn't even 1 gram. It is less, it's half of 1 carat. So it is not only 1/5 of a 5 carat stone, but it is 1/10 the weight of a 5 carat stone. So you are looking at a figure 10 times the 83 days. So 830 days, or let's just round down and say 2 years. You'd have to hold that little stone I showed you in your hand for 2 years to get the same amount of ambient radiation that you get in a year from the sun and all. Needless to say, it's harmless at any one of those size stones. And you're not going to be holding that stone in your hand, any of them, for that long. But it is absolutely recommended that you do not use them in jewelry because of how close the radiation is. And I can assure you, if you put it in a ring and wore it on your hand for an extended number of weeks, there would be radiation burn there. I mean, I don't know, but I would just imagine that there would be. Okay, so you get this with it as well, which is some extra additional reading. Now, we're going to move on. take a look at this next item. This is world class. This is stunning. I gave you the item number, right?
Yeah.
All right, look at this. Here we go. I am pulling another one out of the hat that you have not seen that is absolutely rocking. And let's look at this closer. What we have, so you can understand all this, let me get a pointer, is translucent to transparent barite. That is these incredible long, slender crystals. Look at these. All right, we'll look at those closer in a moment. Look at how small and delicate they are. Now, when you look at these crystals, these square shaped fluorite. You have fluorite, clear white fluorite, which is really the rarest color in fluorite, because fluorite is allochromatic. It gets its color from impurities. Regular pure calcium fluoride is white and clear, but you just don't see it that often. Now, you can see that by seeing these neat squares. As I turn this, well, actually, if we look at this really closely, you can see, look at these slender, there we go, perfect. Look at these, watch me bump my knee, beautiful crystals that, wow, hold on. Look at that. So I just checked. See those crystals along there? They're inside the fluorite. Those are inside the fluorite. All right, look at these. And then look at how delicate. Look at all these tucked up and around. Look at that. Those are barite. Barite is seldom ever seen this transparent to translucent. You have these all over. And when you see this yellow, the rare color yellow, that's fluorite. That's one of the rare colors in fluorite, but we'll talk about that in a moment. All right, and as we explore just on this one side, you can see, look at how small and fine, and at each angle you get another attractive view without even looking at how beautiful the big fluorites are. We're just looking at the little stuff right now and appreciating it. Okay, so let me swing this around. And now let's come up to the top, because I didn't have room to put everything in the description. I did find room for calcite. And if you look right there, there's one. Where there's one, there's usually more. And there is several others. Dogtooth or scalenohedral crystals of calcite. That I only discovered those late into featuring the piece. Look at those. You can see multiples of them up there, right there. That's a little extra bonus. And there probably some more throughout the piece. So I'm just going to not look for any more. I'll leave it up to whoever is lucky enough to get this. Now, again, you see all these other delicate crystals. Look at these. Look at how thin and delicate these are. If you've ever, look at the barites. If you've ever seen specimens, it is often the small little detail crystals that really add the value and pack a punch for aesthetics. Look at that. Okay, see those dog teeth right there? Here's a neat cluster of the calcites. The rare barites, not the crystal formation isn't rare, it's the clarity, the translucency, the transparency of them. Here you do have some that are opaque. As we continue to explore, you come upon really the piece of the whole specimen are these fluorites. These are fluorites. And I'm going to tell you right now, since we have a great shot of them, under long wave fluorescent light, breathtaking. They are green, and a beautiful, beautiful mint green. And often your fluorites you will mostly get a purple fluorescence is the #1 color of fluorescence that you get from fluorites. Another color is yellow. To get green, that is not a common color. And so here's the other thing. The green fluorescence occurs where more of the darker orange to yellow color is. So what it looks like is phantoms, because you have this other clearer edge to these crystals. You see how the edge, the outer portions are clear? But the fluorescence starts further in. And it's something you can only, Brad I'm sure knows because he collects fluorescence, and I would highly recommend these for your collection, this particular specimen, because it is simply breathtaking. Simply breathtaking. Now, as we continue to explore this piece, everything that you see a little bit of tan color to, oh, look at that. Look at those fine crystals right back there. Look at that down in there. Fluoresces. So you have fluorescence back behind the barytes, kind of lighting it up from inside. I see, look at that. There is some dog teeth calcites there. Oh, look at that. There it is. I forgot even the chalcopyrite. Look at that. There is some chalco. So the combination of that, the Moscona mine. The Moscona mine in Spain. And you know, for those of you that have been watching, you know how years ago I had that stunning from Asturias, Spain, of old estate of Spanish fluorites. And I have sold almost all of them. This is one of them, of course, that I didn't. And I've held on to it. And it's time. It's time. I am offering it to find another home. There, I believe, are some other minerals. There's quartz associated with this. There could be some dolomite and some other ones that just need to be researched somewhat to be able to figure out what they may be. So look at that. Here's the other cool thing. The white fluorites, they don't fluoresce. It is only, oh, so look at that one. So see the white outer edge, that doesn't fluoresce. It's only inside. So you get these green squares lit up fluorescent-wise. Okay, now, as we come away from this specimen just a bit, I want to show you in my hand how big it is. Look at that. It is an amazing cabinet quality, cabinet size specimen. This gives you one whole look. You have green fluorescence backing behind all these. You have, look at that, perfect edges, no chips, in excellent condition. You have calcites. You have a very desirable origin from the Spanish collection, Asturias. Look at the edge here. Look at that clear part of the fluorite. And then the other part will fluoresce. And that's a rare color. This piece is a marvel and really shows. And how about this? I have this offer, again, well below, especially the Spanish stuff. You can't get these. These are all, not available anymore. I have it priced to really, as a great opportunity, only $188. Only $188. That's an exceptional opportunity. And especially, again, if you are a fluorescent collector. Yep. Okay, I'm going to show you, since we covered the fluorescent, well, you know, fluorescence is just another form almost of radiation. And you excite the little electrons, and you never know what they're going to do. Next, I have, here we go, item number 1, let me see here. 116-1524. And, bless you. Okay, so these are unstrung. I noticed that a lot of the beads I featured before that were unstrung, the turquoise and other ones. So, guess what? I'm offering, look at these. Look at these. These aren't strung, but they've all been drilled. They're on just fishing line for right now. And they're 16 each. You get 2 for the price, because each one would string out, if you knotted them, maybe 18 inches, and added a clasp. But a lot of people like to wear them longer. So to give you the maximum choice of opportunity for those that string yourself, because these can easily be strung yourself, you could have either a 32-inch length, or you can make a 28-inch length and a bracelet. You can do all kinds of things if you have 2 strands. So instead of breaking them up into just single 16-inch that might string an 18-inch, I want to offer more choices of what you may want to do with them. Look at the quality of these. I got these a long time ago. We're talking about 10 or 12 years ago. I may have even written it in the information. And they were going to be strung by Raven, but she has had so much to do, she wasn't going to have time. So I thought, well, I'll offer them. So they're just on fishing line right now. Can be easily just restrung on fishing line. If you put the 2 together, not the fishing line, take a Bic lighter to the nylon line and melt it together, basically tying it off. You don't need a catch or anything. 2 together at 32-inch length. You can double them up, put them over your head. You might need a catch for that, maybe not. But either way, at 32 inches, just over the head, don't need a catch. You can string them on fishing line, you're fine. You're good to go. And this, you can see by how little white or the calcite in them would greatly drop the price and value. Well, let's put it this way, would greatly drop the quality, thus dropping the price and the value you get. Instead, I am offering these at, Lapis has gone way up over the years. Of course it has. You think Afghanistan is an easy place to get anything from? So I'm not going to represent the newer price, what these would be. I am just going to go with the price from the Wayback Machine. And that would be offering these, both these necklaces. They're a good millimeter width as well at 7 millimeter, but for only $118 for both. $118 for both. And again, if these were only modeled with a little bit of white that you could see, the price would be half. It drops off like a rock once you start having like let's say the Chilean, which I'm familiar with, the Chilean Chilean lapis has more pyrite than it does lapis in the material. Those are worth much, much less. You're talking about the good stuff here, as you can see. And, you know, the good stuff, well, you got to pay for it, but you don't have to pay too much for it. Only $118 for both. That is a deal. It may sound like a lot, but if I took that price, showed you one, and said that's only going to be $59. You think, oh my goodness, $59 for that? That is a deal. And it is. It's even a better deal to get 2 for twice $59. That's where the 118 might sound like a lot, but you're getting a lot more for it in both necklaces. Now, let me show you something I have never offered before. You think, what in the world could that be? Well, let me get a little stand for a moment. All right. You know, I think I saw where we had sold, no surprise, all the almost all the other, but you can, if you have the items numbers, you can buy from any show. The sales reps will help you out 24/7. Okay, that said, look at the size. Here's the difference in the items I've been showing you. Baltic amber, none of these are heat treated. Baltic amber is known to be much more rare than Dominican amber for insects. In other words, it's much more rare to find insects in Baltic amber than it is elsewhere. Look at this. Look at this. Look at the antennae. Look at the detail and the size of, I'm just calling this a fly, but I'm sure there is something more specific. Look at the legs. You're looking at something 40 million years old. The detail of preservation. And so look at this. You know there's guts in that thing. You know.
Come all the way in.
You know there is whatever it ate last. Let's look at this. Okay, while I'm on this side, let me just go up to here. I saw, oh, here it is. I saw what looked like a big proboscis or part of a wing, which as the sap runs down the tree, it can tend to tear insect bodies into pieces. And so you'll get these other pieces. But sometimes when they land and get covered up quickly, the entire insect is preserved. Now looking at it from this side, wow, look at that down on it. You can see it looks like the Dark Lord has his cape around him. No, that is some incredible detail. That is huge in the world of insects. And let me give you another view and light this up. There we go with Dave's amazing camera work. Look at that. Look at that. That is the complete fly. Now, needless to say, there is, I'm sure, other body parts. We're going to spend our time on those because I need to get to some other items I want to show you. But I tell you what, if you want a large, genuine opportunity at something where this is not minuscule. So many of the insects are 1 to 2 millimeters that you find in the Dominican Republic pieces and often in the Baltic regions. The ones I've been showing you, I've had for a long, long time. They've been in my personal collection. Let me show you the whole size of this now, and then you can see and appreciate just how big that is. And you can see, look at that, easily visible to the eye. Yeah, so here it is, look at that, look at that. All right. I'll put that right there for the moment while I look up the deal I'm going to offer this for. And only $118. That's regretful. That's regretful. As soon as the words came out of my mouth, $118 for Baltic amber with that size of a bug. Yeah. Take advantage of it because you know what? Look at this, how big that is. That is look at that, that just shows up so well. would make an amazing wire wrap piece for any of you out there. Or I'm actually including, if this fits it, does that fit? I'll include one of these suspension boxes anyway, and you'll have something to put it in and whatnot. So, yeah, I think that's the last of the big items for amber I have. Item 1160824. You want to see something rare? Well, you just did. You want to see something probably more rare than that in the end? Here.
Repeat that number.
Yes, that number would be 116 and 0824. And this is from Osif's home country. So I'm going to show it to you first in the, I'm going to include this in a suspension box as well. And because here are 3 of some of the rarest
And that's bullet sharp.
crystal. Oh my. Some rare crystals. Yes, that's right. And look at the clarity to this. Look at these. These, I've never offered bastnaesite crystals of this quality. Bastnaesite is a rare cerium, lanthanum, yttrium. REE stands for rare earth elements. Carbonate, or fluorocarbonate, because there's even fluorite in it. So to have a cerium lanthanum carbonate, that is just a really unique stone. And if I could pick this little goober up. All right, let me show you. Well, let me show you something. Look at the clarity of that crystal. Look at the clarity. That would facet a wonderfully clean stone, which is rare, but who would want to, well, I might, tear up that crystal? That would be one to make a decision on, but I tell you what, I'd be okay with it, because you could facet a very bright, brilliant, high quality stone from it. Or keep that crystal and cut a stone from this. This hasn't been faceted, that's just part of a crystal. It is absolutely, look at that, facet grade quality. And the crystal is, look at that, well terminated. It really is a fantastic quality facet grade crystal. Now this one is one you can just cut a cabochon, or keep this one for your specimen crystal, for like your before. Actually, it's large enough you could put the faceted one on top of it if you wanted for display. But actually, now that I'm looking at this, let me show you. I think this is really clear. It is. That, what you're seeing through it is just the surface on the other side. Because that is quite, wow, look at that. It almost looks like amber. But it's not. It is far more rare. Beautiful. Thank you, sir. Okay, so 3 pieces of rare bastnaesite. It is at one time it was one of the top 10 rarest gemstones, because it is considered a gemstone in that kind of quality. And if you try to find facet grade bastnaesite from a dealer or supplier in that quality, expect to pay a lot of money. Facet grade bastnaesite is very difficult to find. That's why you saw I recut that one and sold it months ago, but someone got lucky on getting a large bastnaesite that I offered for sale, so well done to you. Price on this one, only $38. Only, for all 3 pieces, $38. Now, I know that's a great deal. Let me show you. Item 1161424. Yeah, so if that's the kind of stuff we would need to go to Pakistan and go up that mountain and get. That's the goods. No, exactly. We would have to sell it for more than that. I'm a bad businessman. Let me show you this next item. How about this? Look at these. And here's the cool thing about this. Here is something really cool about these. You know what's so cool? All right. And here's how you check. Look at that. You're saying, well, you have these as specimen. Have you ever seen almandine garnets climb up my magnet like that many? Have you ever seen almandine, which is the iron garnet, which is the garnet that would be very attracted to the magnet, ever be this color? This is an orange color. This is not an almandine color. There's no reds in here. This is not like the purplish reds of almandine. And why are there so many? Almandine, maybe 1 or 2 might jump up on there. Well, specimen garnet is the manganese garnet of the group. And the type manganese is the Mn+2 valence. That valence of manganese is the most magnetic of all the garnets because of that. So you have specimen garnet that is much more attracted to a magnet than your iron almandine garnet. You just don't get to see enough of them for me to have shown you what I just did. And these, you know what, if I had them, what I would do? I would refacet every one. You know what you would end up with? You would end up with garnets that look like the Tanzanian specimens. Add brilliance to these, which would lighten the color, brighten them up, and make them look a lot more like a mandarin garnet. Because remember, mandarin garnets, look at that, look at that. That would easily orange up to the into the mandarin garnet color range, and it is clean. You know how much mandarin garnets are going for now? Oh, I was looking at some of Frank's. They're going for a fortune, a small fortune, and they're worth it. They are rare and hard to come by now. So anyway, that whole parcel now, if you tried to buy rough that would cut even cabochones like that, you're looking right now at material that I know is over 20 to 25 years old. I'm going to offer that whole parcel right now for only $44. 44 lonely only dollars. That's a deal. That's a really good deal. Okay, as I'm trying to keep up with the time, which is about run out on me, which looks like it gives me room for one more item, and I have the item in my hand. I just need the item number to go with it. So, in order to do that, in my unorganized self, I'm going to go to my cheat sheet, and I am going to look it up, because what I'm going to show you, you haven't seen. And I know after the lead up that you're going to want to see this. Yep, item 116066. Boy, sorry, Asif, my eyesight right there. Yep, 1160624. 1160624, and look at this from Wyoming. You know Wyoming? You know the Nightia fish in what they call the mudstone. It's a funny name, the material that actually forms this. These are natural. These aren't water spots. This is actually in this material. These are natural dendrites, often formed by manganese oxide. You could possibly split this. You can actually see the different layering of the seasons, because where this was found, you see that, the light and dark, there was only a wet and dry season. And that's what separates them. It's also how you split this material, and that's how you find the fish. You see this texture, that's how you can tell that this is what they call Wyoming mud grade limestone and dendrites. They try to call this a lot of things that it isn't. Keep that in mind. It even as much as oil shale, and it's not always oil shale. Look at that, looks like a western scene of that's really pretty. Anyway, I have that piece, and that even can go into like a frame, like a picture, and display it that way. So anyway, really good deal on that, because I'm offering that in entire landscape. The only one I have, only one I'm going to have, and why not close the show out with a doozy of an opportunity and make that one only, why not, $38. $38. I have some insects I'll show you next time that are in this material. If I had time now, I would show you, but we are out of it. So I'll be right back with the trivia. Okay, so I was just cleaning up here and going over some things, and if I was more organized, you probably would have gotten to see a couple other items, like over my shoulder, or is it the other shoulder, or right behind me. Anyway, there is a real unique plate of quartz. That's all I'm going to say. But out of sight, out of mind. You didn't get to see it. But you know what? I was having too much fun. And the other thing is, now that you are so aware of what's all around us, I mean, we're already bombarded with things we don't see. Radio waves, TV waves, sound waves, microwaves, all kinds of stuff. And we don't see it. We don't know it's there. So for me, I enjoy having that Geiger counter so I can monitor my atmosphere. You know, in Georgia, and I know a lot of you aren't in Georgia, but in Georgia, and it can be a problem in Florida even, uranium-238 has a 4.5 billion year half-life. Okay, so in other words, half of it degrades in that amount of time. Well, the Earth is what, 6 billion years old? So the Earth is old enough. Some half-lives are beyond the age of the Earth, so they haven't even dropped to their first, what they call it, first daughter elements. In other words, all the ones that follow below. Uranium-238 continues to degrade its half-life till it winds up to be lead. So, which is, I think, 207 for the periodic table of elements number. So it goes through all these other elements to end up inert, not radioactive, and safe. But in the meantime, I think radium comes first, radon comes first, and because places in the south in certain areas, Florida, it's potassium-40 causes the issue from the phosphate mining. In Georgia, you go to your regular home goods store, and what do they offer? Radon detectors, right? Radon detectors. Radon is one of the products of U-238 as its half-lives, as it goes through its half-lives and alters its elemental form. Again, until it ends up to be a harmless block of lead. And funny that lead, of course, can shield and stop the radiation unless it's gamma radiation. We don't talk about all that, even though I'd love to. So that's advanced class. It's something that has to be monitored in a home because it can gather in basements and things like that. Now, if you're not in one of those areas, you got it covered, you don't have to worry about it. A lot of people don't realize they have to worry about it. Watching this show will make you aware of things that you never thought that you would become aware of from a rock and mineral, and often, when we have it, gems and jewelry show, but mostly a rock and mineral show. With fossils as all, fossils become important. Because remember, carbon-14 dating is only good out to about 5,000 years. Because that's the half-life. It can't detect things older. So there are other isotopes that have certain half-lives that's how they're able to determine the age of something. If you ever wondered about that, or you just heard of, carbon-14 dating, but never exactly understood it, it has to do with how much of, let's use carbon-14. So you find a skeleton. How much and there's a certain amount of carbon-14 in our bodies, no matter what. So they can determine what is left and the amount of time it took to get to that point. But again, because of its half-life, after 5,000 years, it becomes another element. So, radiometric dating is the most important tool paleontologists, archaeologists have. And so that is all around us. Radiation. And we hear about that. Put on the sunscreen. Well, what do you put it on sunscreen for? To prevent, there's 3 types, UVA, B, and C. Type of, what is it? Radiation. Ultraviolet. And so what I showed you today was just a portion of it. As a whole, if you understood it, it would really, you'd really like that level of knowledge. And it doesn't take that much to understand it. It just needs to be explained. And it's much easier to explain with the actual item, isn't it? When we're messing around and we have something, you see a Geiger counter, you see the numbers, I think it would gives you a better understanding through hands-on learning. And not something you would normally expect in a show like this, but gem shopping takes you to that place. We give you a level of understanding and learning. You just have to seek it out because it's there right on the home page, all the way at the bottom. Watch Shawn. Click on that and it takes you to 30 other amazing how it's done episodes of every, and I'm doing all the work. Asa's filming. Greatest director I have ever known. And Asif, I never fully understood what a director does until he directed me making 30 videos. And wow, a director earns his money, because without him, I knew everything how to do it at the bench, but without the direction of how to show what and do what in what order, it would have been a mess. So I have the science end down. He had the organization end down, and we created 30 amazing videos. also all the shows. By the end of it, you know, you'll enjoy them all, and you'll have that knowledge that no one else will have. These shows are the extra bonus because you get to learn and buy the item that you learned on. Now, what you're going to see next week, because I just ran out of time this week, I had to get to the other items, was I actually have a really special specimen that has a high CPM, count per minute, but now that you understand it, I want to offer it because someone like Brad might really want it because it has short, we have long wave ultraviolet light. It doesn't do anything on the long wave, but under short wave ultraviolet light, the crystals of zircon glow a beautiful yellow. So it might be a great addition to his collection. But it would only be fair that I told him if it had a signature of, a radiation signature. So anyway, all that said, I hope you enjoyed the show. We got lots more coming next week. I have a lot more coming next week. We'll leave it at that. You're going to love it. If you love the last few shows, just keep watching. Because if you think after 7 years I ran out of the goods, no. Look at that Fibrous malachite. Didn't think I'd come up with that, did you? Uh-huh. Well, wait. There's more. Or that stunning, incredible Spanish beautiful fluorite and barite with those little dog-tooth calcites. What a piece. Okay, anyway, ready, set, I hope. Okay, so with trivia, you can take notes, you can use your notes. You can listen to the show as many times as you want until you get to this point where I ask the trivia questions, and you can go back and watch it over. At that point, after you hear the questions, then of course, don't go back and look at the show, because then that wouldn't be fair. All right, question number 1. What type of mining led to the discovery of econite? Remember, econite was only discovered in 1953, which in the world of gems and gemology, even though it was a stone that was radioactive, it was still, you saw how beautiful it is. And the only haziness is caused by that property caused by the radiation, which makes it metamict, amorphous, like glass. 1953, that's not long ago to find something new. Well, the amazing thing was the tanzanites and tsavorite in 1967. So, there's still new gems that can be found. And econite, they have found it enough. I have 3 stones. I haven't been able to sell any of them, but I thought I am offering the very first one for a special collector. If you want either of the other 2, just make a comment and I'll make a note. I'll inventory it in and I'll have all the stats for it, and I'll set it aside for you. So just let me know and it'll be yours. So, there was just over a 2 carat and just over a 4 carat. So just make it a simple $100 a carat. So $200 and $400, you know the price already. Let me know if you want them. In the meantime, you can get that amazing half carat stone for, what, $58? Is that what I said? Okay, so what type of mining led to the discovery of econite? That beautiful, beautiful green stone. So I mentioned it, and hopefully you'll remember it. If not, you will after now. Second question, a commonly used abbreviation in gem and mineral terminology. And also, you know where I'm hearing this? Because of the news and EVs, electric vehicles, because of the battery, because of what it takes to create these longer lasting, better quality batteries. And I'll bet there's very few of you that actually know how a battery works. In other words, how is that energy stored and how is it used? And so many of you will have a clearer and easier understanding of it because of what you've already learned by way of us just touching on these little nodes of information. It would sound so much already more logical to you if I had a discussion about how EV battery works and is stored. We actually had one right before the show started. We were talking about today, and we were talking about how's the best way to extend the life of any battery for the most part, but we were talking about a phone in particular, then it came up about cars. And I think like one of the things a lot of people don't realize that because everybody wants to maximize the mileage on their electric vehicle. I don't have one. I believe in a big, powerful Hemi V8, 5.7 liter, full-wheel drive, pick-em-up truck that I can load a lot of stuff in and throw a 5-gallon tank of gas in the back and not have to worry about a charging station. Because the truck gets so few miles to the gallon, I need to be able to have gas with me pretty much if I drive down the street. No, but that's just me. With all these electric vehicles that you hear about, and the sourcing has become real important of what it takes to make a battery. This abbreviation I've heard used many times. And then, of course, they always say what it stands for. So my question to you again is, a commonly used abbreviation in gem and mineral terminology is REE. What does it stand for? REE. What do those three initials stand for? Okay, so I've had a great time. Didn't show as many things as I wanted to, but I am glad that you've been enjoying the shows. Yeah, I am going to enjoy the continued discovery of showing you things that you've never seen before and teaching you information that not only is useful in your daily life, but will certainly impress your rock and mineral friends. I thank all of you. You just don't know how blessed I am for all of your support. I hope that it continues, and I hope you continue to enjoy the show as much as I continue to enjoy doing the show for you. God bless all, and I'll see you next week.